Welcome to the Ecom 80/20 podcast, the show for brands looking to compete and win at selling online by building better customer relationships. Hosted by Isaac Hyman and Jacob Rosenberg, co-founders of HiFlyer Digital and marketing experts for 7, 8, and 9-figure brands, we'll reveal, discuss, and demystify the secret strategies that the top 1% use to acquire, convert, and retain customers better. Our mission is to help level the playing field and help you build more profitable, predictable, and scalable revenue streams for your business. Let's get started.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of the Ecom 80/20 podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Rosenberg, with my partner, Isaac Hyman, and we are here to help ecom businesses work smarter, not harder. Today, we have a special guest, Ruben Ramirez, who's here from Outperform Studio. Outperform is a paid media management agency that does paid media across digital spectrum, including CPC, CPM, content promotion, and retargeting campaigns. They use customized techniques based on special platforms and helping their customers reach their campaign goals. Ruben is the director of digital media, and he's also the co-founder and owner of Outperform Studio, and we are happy to have him here today, and we're looking forward to talking everything about his business and his customers and helping on the retention side as well as the acquisition side. So nice to have you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Great. So why don't you, in your own words, because I use your website's words, tell us exactly what Outperform does and how they actually outperform.
Yeah, sure. So we've been focusing mostly on TikTok. We don't do almost anything else but that. And we found that, especially for e-commerce brands in the wellness space, it works very well. TikTok has been with us for a while organically, but on the paid side and to run the paid campaigns, it just started the last autumn. With the beta version, and slowly a lot of brands has been transitioning from Facebook to TikTok, there is a lot of heat about it now, and more brands are willing to try it. And the thing is, it's working very well because since the iOS 14 update, as you may know, it disturbed a lot of the tracking, and marketing is becoming more like a platform experience, a user experience on the creative. And TikTok offers you all that. So if you have a good creative, for sure you can make sales and you don't have to worry about tracking everything. Obviously, it's important to be able to optimize, but TikTok is great for the creatives. And we've seen a lot of brands, especially in the wellness niche, that are scaling a lot on TikTok, and it's working very well for the ROAS because there is still no competition on the platform either, compared to Facebook, for example.
That's fascinating. And one thing I think with in terms of email and SMS and CRM side of the business, content creation and actually getting the content together, it tends to always be a challenge for brands out there. Right? I think from the email side, it tends to be a little bit maybe easier, but when it comes to videos or doing TikToks, content must play a major role. How has that impacted? How have you addressed that for your clients?
Yeah, so we've seen, especially since the iOS update, to the user acquisition in terms of cold audience is becoming more and more expensive on cold audiences. And that's where TikTok and, like you mentioned, email marketing, text messages, and other types of inbound marketing works very well. Because with TikTok, there is less competition than other platforms. You can drive a lot more traffic into your website, especially if your content is good. You can have a super low CPM. The average, I think, in Facebook is like $30 to $40 per CPM. In TikTok is $2.
Wow.
So you get a lot more reach, a lot more clicks, and all those clicks are just traffic going to your website, obviously. And that will give a lot of data to your pixel. And obviously you can capture more emails, even if you don't make the sale. I mean, the focus obviously is to make the sale, but as people may know, there should be around 3 to 5 touches before the actual user make the purchase. And there's where TikTok has the advantage, where we can touch base with TikTok, Facebook, email marketing, and other, and make the brand profitable overall with the multi-channel strategy and help them to keep growing and keep being profitable, which is the main pain of most brands lately.
Of course. Yeah. And I love that we just jumped right in here. I love that we really got comfortable quickly with each other. We just went right into, real content questions here in this interview. And let's take a step back and we'll get back to more details in a little bit. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Ruben Ramirez and why Outperform was something that he felt he needed to start?
Sure. So I was born in Spain, south of Spain, and little islands like Canary Islands. Amazing weather, amazing islands, but not so amazing for entrepreneurship. So when I was 21, I left to live in the UK, in London, and spent like 6 years over there, mostly studying and working as a bartender, like just normal jobs.
Nice.
And I got interested into marketing slowly, especially when I was injured. I had a big injury on my spine, and I couldn't move for like 4 months. And obviously, I had a lot of free time. So I got more and more interested into marketing, and started just for fun, just to study, try things. Even open a Ecom shop that failed rotundly. It was awful. But I got the experience on that, and after that, just decided that I had to become an expert on marketing before I dive into any other projects that I wanted to do. And slowly, I became an expert on paid media, and I kept studying, improving, and getting on more clients. And over a year ago, I decided to do my agency and start with the team, because I was doing everything by myself. I still wear a lot of hats,
of course,
but at least I have a team now, and I got a great team. The creative team for TikTok is amazing. We got amazing content going viral and getting very profitable campaigns. So super happy with the project that we got into, and yeah, just expecting to help more wellness brands to be profitable and scale and get into the 7 and 8 figure mark.
Amazing. So yeah, full disclosure here, we met Ruben a couple of months ago. We're all members of the 7-figure agency accelerator program, and as a fellow e-commerce business owner, we kind of formed a bond, a clique, and a group where all the e-commerce agencies are helping each other out. So we're here to highlight Ruben and everything that he's doing. So we hope that we can help each other out as well. And it's, as you said, we are all scaling towards that goal of 7, 8, 9-figure agencies. So we're happy to have you here, and, thanks again. So let's go back now, back to where we started in the beginning of this conversation, where we really just jumped into that content. So talk to us a little bit about the types of content that you find is specifically useful for e-commerce businesses, because as this agency podcast goes, we're the Ecom 80/20 podcast, and we help businesses work smarter, not harder. So TikTok is a new platform. It's really only a couple of years old, and for all those people who say that it used to be Musical.ly, okay, great, Musical.ly died, but TikTok took over that space. So it's new for businesses, it's new for brands, and how they're really starting to get into it is really fascinating. We're really excited about it, but we're not all that knowledgeable of it yet. So please tell us and our listeners how they can get into that space, and what best practices they should have when they're jumping into TikTok.
Yeah, sure. Like I mentioned, it's almost new for everybody. Organically, it's been around for a while, and what actually works, like there is never a specific structure that you should follow for TikTok. The main thing is just to be aware of the trends of TikTok, what's working now, because the trends are constantly changing. So maybe a video that was working 2 months ago is doing nothing now.
2 months ago,
so
if it was working 2 days ago, it's already changing in 2 days, right?
Yeah, as well. Like usually the trends work for a couple of weeks, but it depends also how big the trend is and the competition on that trend. Because
something about
obviously
My money don't jiggle, jiggle, something like that. Is that?
Yeah.
I hear
No,
that
and,
background in
there
my
is more and
house.
more people as well in the platform, and more people creating content. So it's becoming slowly more difficult to go viral as well.
Mhm.
At the beginning, it was super easy. Whatever you did, you might go viral because there is nobody else were doing it.
Right.
Now it's millions of people doing the same thing, and you just copy your whatever you're doing, and might go viral, might not. But there is a lot of practice that you can follow. Obviously, the main thing it's the trend. Follow the structure. Make sure that the content that you create it's good, that people like consuming your content. Just don't do whatever. Like
Mhm.
create quality content, following the trends, and stick to posting consistently. That's the main thing on organic content. Like follow the trends, be consistent, and don't play around trying to hack the algorithm, because it's gonna invert and it's gonna mess around with your account.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot about the consistency of TikTok, and TikTok to me seemed to be, a byproduct of the pandemic, right? Pandemic came and everyone just started being more involved in obviously social media, but just a new platform. I think we all remember Clubhouse, maybe. I think that's still around. I'm not even sure, but what's fascinating is that people are using TikTok not merely to engage their customers and build a relationship, right? But it also seems like e-commerce businesses also want to try and drive revenue from that platform. Do you find that e-commerce brands are driving significant revenue and profits, or is it more of a community building engagement, like you said, trending type of platform?
Oh, so well, for brands overall, there's a huge pain on that. Like we see lots of brands trying to go into TikTok, but they don't have a clue on how to create content or how to do the content for the platform. And they're just trying to copy paste what they're doing on Facebook, on Instagram, and it doesn't work at all. So what works is the community, but the trends and what we do if to make it work for the brand, it's to get the brand guidelines, make sure that we stick with the vision on the brand, what the brand wants to achieve, but we mix it up with the trends. So we hire influencers and actors that are already recognized within the platform, and they create the content for this brand, and they look like organic TikToks, and that's what works. We've seen brands just creating TV ads, basically, this typical old-fashioned TV advertising. So we've seen a lot of brands doing that, and it's just terrible for them. They don't make any profits on that kind of content. So what works, it's just to create TikToks, don't create ads.
Right. So that's part of, the native versus, actual advertisements. And that's a challenge for any platform you're working on, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and now TikTok. You want to make that experience as natural as and organic as possible. So how is it that a brand really balances that? You don't want to make it too staged, but you also don't want to make it too, anybody with an iPhone is going to do this. You want to make it actually look professional enough that it's a real promotion for your business. So how do you balance the two there?
So the main thing, I would say none of the ads that we make look actually professional, to be honest. Like they look like organic TikToks, and that's why they work better, because people don't know it's an ad until they finish the video and they see the call to action for the product or the service that we are advertising. So even the text, the captions, everything within the video, it's native in TikTok. So it looks like just another video from a TikToker influencer making content for the brand. And that's what we've seen that it works better. We tested everything, and mixing up and doing other things didn't work as well as just making organic TikTok random content with the trends.
Right.
We obviously, there is exceptions, but we just follow the trends with the actors and make it look like a normal TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, I know it on my feed. I have all these TikToks now for Amber Heard and the Johnny Depp trial. They're all going
yeah.
viral now, right? We all see them. I'm always engaged in them. I'm fascinated by it. I'm always curious, considering it's, we're on the email and SMS side where you start building that relationship and you're reaching the inbox. But then on TikTok or I guess maybe in some cases Instagram or YouTube, it's all about the trend that's going on at the time, right?
Yep.
So, I guess you have to balance that kind of short, trendy, 2-week content versus how do you ladder that up to kind of long form content where it's there all the time for your subscribers for just to build that relationship. I wonder if there's a great way.
Yeah, so it's still complicated in TikTok to create content that can last long. Sorry. For what we've seen, the content that we create lasts, like you say, 2-3 weeks. After that, we need to keep creating more videos. Like that's why we recommend at least 30 videos every month, like one per day organically, and then for the ads, obviously depends on your budget on the ad spend, but one per day, testing the audiences with all the creatives until we find a winner, and that winner will last for a week or 2. That's it, and then we need another one. We haven't found anything that can last for like a month or 2, because TikTok is just very dynamic and there's so much content being created all the time. So it's very difficult to last for that long with the same video.
So walk us through what an actual ad looks like when you're not trying to make it look like an ad, but do you spend, and how does an ad work in TikTok itself? Is there a click? Is there a like? Is there an engagement? Is there a comment? What is your goal when you're running TikTok ads?
So the main goal is to make the user watch the video until the end. That's the first goal, because if we make the user watch the whole video until the end, TikTok rewards that and the CPM becomes a lot lower. So if, for example, too many people see your video and they just see 25-50% of the video, your CPM is going to be higher than if these people watch the video until the end. Obviously, we can retarget these users as well afterwards, but the main goal is to make them watch the whole video until the end and make it with native captions, so all within TikTok made, and very dynamic. So that's the main keys that we try to do. The video usually lasts for 5-10 seconds, sometimes 15, but the best working is 10 seconds, more or less. And the video is super fast, super dynamic, so they don't even catch all the information at once. So they watch the whole video once, they don't catch everything, they have to watch it again, and that's how the video can become viral, because the same person watched the video more than once, and they engage, they can comment, they can share it, they can like it, whatever it is. That's the main goal that we try to achieve when we create the content. And that's what gives us also a high click-through rate and a super cheap cost per click. And that's also how we drive so much traffic into the website. So the main thing is follow the trends, make it dynamic, fun, and make people stay in TikTok and watch your video until the end. Those are the main things that I would recommend when creating content.
Nice. So then you mentioned click-through. What does that actually entail? Is there, because if you double tap on the video, it turns into a like. If you tap once, it turns into a pause. So what does that click mean actually in TikTok? I mean, I'm saying this like I don't actually know what's going on.
Yeah. Sure.
Just like we're novices here.
The click-through rate, it's the percentage of people that actually clicks your link after watching the video or during the video. And usually a good click-through rate can be above 1%. If it's above 1%,
I mean, the link is located where? Is it in the video? Is it native? Is there a link in the actual video, or is it on their profile?
Usually it's next to the description. So as you in the bottom left of the video, there is the name of the account of the brand and some captions and with the link. and there is where you click to go to the product page or the website itself.
Got it. Okay,
And that's what counts as a click-through rate as well.
Right.
Got it. Yeah, one thing that we do on again on our side of the business, and again, it's very similar in many ways about how you're trying to drive traffic to the site. Every channel out there, right, from paid search to paid social, TikTok, email, SMS, all that is traffic generators, and the website plays such a major role in converting those into customers. So we tend to always, as part of our C4 playbook, which we call C4 because it's explosive, like those big action movies with Bruce Willis. So part of the C4 playbook, the design playbook and the content playbook, is all about helping with the landing page and helping with the conversion. What's your perspective and your take on helping brands try to increase the conversion rate from TikTok ads? Do you get involved in that at all, or is it just kind of like focus on the ads?
Yeah, no, like we have a partner actually that does conversion rate optimization, and they play a huge role on what we do as well, because obviously we cannot generate a profitable campaign and increase the return on ad spend if the website, the product page that we're driving the traffic through doesn't convert. Like if the content or the design or the ad copy, anything can affect the conversions. Even the upsells, cross sells that you put through the checkout experience and so on, all that can affect the conversion rate, the lifetime value, and the order value of that user. So we have a partner that works very closely with us, and if we see that there is anything that should be improved on the product pages that we are advertising, we always refer our client to a partner. The partner does a free audit to them, and after this free audit, obviously you can choose if you want to go forward and work with them, or you want to implement those recommendations by yourself. And it works very well, obviously. Like, we need to focus on the conversions, not only on the campaign.
Right. If your websites are not converting well, or showing some roadblocks for those conversions, then any advertisements you're going to do won't matter, no matter what platform you're on. So yeah, that's if people can't check out, then they can't buy your product. So it's
doesn't matter how much traffic you send to the website. If the website is not converting, it's just a waste.
Yeah. So is that something that, so now let's talk on the e-commerce side. How have you found e-commerce businesses have performed with their TikTok ads, and what kind of tools and tricks can you share with that?
Sure. So you mean in the organic side, on the paid side?
Well, I guess both. Start with organic, but then go to paid.
So on organic, we've seen a lot of brands doing quite well, actually. Not many. I have to say that a lot of brands still learning how the platform works, but the big brands in our space are doing very well in terms of content. They have obviously the resources to get the influencers of the actors and get the content done, optimized for a specific platform. So we've seen organically a lot of brands doing well, but there's still the big pain of learning how the platform works and how they have to create the content. For brands that are still in the 6 and 7 figure mark, it's very difficult to focus on this platform and create content for this platform, because they have to deal with too many things at once to make it work. Like, they have to come up with the strategy, they have to come up with influencers and actors, and manage all the actors, manage all the scripts and the content that's going to be created, send them the product. Like, it's a headache for them. Yeah. And that's why we've seen a lot coming to agencies as well, because the agency is a done-for-you service. They manage everything, you just pay them, and they will create all the content for you. The only brands that we've seen that they're being successful on the organic side doing it themselves is if they are above the 7-figure mark, like multiple 7 figures, or near the 8 figures. Below that, we haven't seen many brands being successful. On the paid side, we've seen a bit of everything, and the main difficulty is to be profitable still, because they create the content and it's not that great. They drive the sale, but the cost per acquisition on cold audiences is still expensive for them, even in TikTok and even that there is not so much competition because they don't know the platform. And that's the main thing I've seen for all the brands in our space, at least.
Question. Does, one of the things with on the retention side, what we tend to do is also send over the customer list for customers that have converted. You mentioned high lifetime value last time. People that have bought two, three times, 4 times VIP type of customers. We send those customers back over to Facebook, back over to Google Customer Match, Facebook lookalike audiences. So you can go out, brands can go out there and find more. What is TikTok's capabilities of modeling audiences off of your best customers? How does that work? Or is that in the roadmap?
Yeah, so TikTok in terms of retargeting and so on is still a bit limited. Like it's copying mostly everything that Facebook does, but there is still a lot of things that they're still on the beta version. They're testing a lot of things. One of the things that have come lately and is working very well is Spark ads. So you post the content, and then this post organically posted, you use it for the ad, and the user doesn't have to leave TikTok. You can create a landing page within TikTok, similar like Instagram Shop, kind of. And this is working well, but we've seen better results just doing it on the traditional way, just driving them through the brand. We can capture the email even if they don't finish the purchase, and then there's where your service comes in, the email marketing, to recover all those lost added to cart and payment info and so on. For previous customers, there is not much to do in terms of advertising in TikTok. I think that still works better on the email marketing side and text message, because you have their email, you can email them. They're part of your family, kind of. Like you have already a lot of touches with the users, and you also give them rewards because they're loyal to the brand as well. So for the paid side, we haven't seen anything working for that
just yet. I'm sure they'll figure it out. TikTok is really.
I'm sure TikTok comes up with something new pretty soon. Like they're coming with a lot of new things every month. Like now that they came out with live videos, they also release stories. They release longer videos. I think you can do up to 1 to 3 minutes. And they're just trying to put more and more things inside the platform, so it's harder for you to leave.
Yeah. You know that TikTok is growing when you see those kind of exactly the same type of reels and stories and YouTube Shorts. All the other big the big platforms are copying TikTok because it's doing so well that they're getting scared, so they have to develop their own. So let's think like a business owner right now for a second. Aside from taking that first step to hire Outperform Studio to do their TikToks for them, how would a new business who's interested in getting into TikTok and TikTok advertising or TikTok, even organic TikTok, take that first step and do it? I know that you mentioned that, the smaller businesses might have a challenge because they'd have a lot to manage on their own. Others are going the agency route, but somewhere where, what would that look like, and what kind of advertising budget are we talking about, without going into too many pricing details here?
Yeah, sure. So to get into TikTok, I don't recommend going into it unless you are stable and profitable and able to scale in Facebook and Google first, because those are the main platforms that have been with us for a while. They're still profitable and they're more stable and cheaper to run than TikTok, because TikTok can be very pricey because you need to create lots of content, and the content has to be done by influencers of actors. You need to pay those actors and edit, optimize, and it's just lots of content compared to Facebook and Google, for example. So I wouldn't recommend jumping into TikTok until you're stable and profitable in the main platforms. We mainly work with brands that are near the 7 figures or near the 8 figures. And they just want a done for you service and stop the worries, and they have the budget. But a minimum budget I would recommend going into TikTok, it's at least $10,000 to $15,000, because if you don't have that to invest it on a new platform, I just recommend just spend that money on Facebook and Google and YouTube, whatever you want to focus on. Keep scaling your brand until you are big enough to take the risk of going into a new platform and make the test as well, because obviously it's a new platform for your brand and you have no idea what's working on that platform unless you hire someone that is an expert, but still it's going to be pricey for your brand. So if you have the doubts and you are not so stable with the income for your brand, I would recommend jumping into TikTok. The recommendation is just when you're near the 7-figure mark at least.
Yeah, we've
Wow,
been
that's
approached by some. I'm sorry, we've been approached by some brands and saying like, I want to get into TikTok, and this is maybe 6-8 months ago. I want to get into TikTok. I'm like, slow down. Like, let's build out your brand first. Make sure that everything is aligned, and before we jump into a new platform. But exactly like you're saying. Sorry about that, Isaac. Go ahead.
No, what's fascinating is that what's amazing about what you said is that brands should max out their capability, maybe not max out, but definitely know that there's some incrementality behind running TikTok ads over Facebook or Google. And of course, it's part of the great media mix. On our end, we get asked all the time, hey, should I be doing SMS? It's a growing channel. Everyone talks about SMS, right? But the real answer, and considering you're the expert in TikTok here, the real answer is, well, what's the incrementality of running SMS on top of your email program? And you can't just change everything over from email to SMS. It doesn't work that way. You got to make them work together. So that's exactly what you're saying. It's just amazing how you said that, because max out Google and Facebook first, and then invest in TikTok, because then you'll know the incrementality of it.
Yeah, exactly. And the main thing that we see is like a lot of people come to and want to jump into TikTok and thinking like TikTok is the main platform for marketing. We mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, like TikTok is new. Like a lot of people still figuring out how it works, how to get profitable, how to grow. And a lot of brands still learning all that. And those brands are already established brands. Like they are doing multiple 7 figures and 8 figures. And those are the ones that have mastered TikTok because they had the budget to test lots of things. If your budget is not that big and you're just risking, like if you risk $10,000, just don't stop risking that and put it into your Facebook or Google marketing until you have that extra cash flow, and then you can jump into TikTok, because TikTok is an add-on platform. It's not a main platform, at least not yet. It will be, because we are on the road for it, but not just yet.
Yeah, so this has been a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot in here, and as we mentioned, our podcast is all about helping businesses work smarter, not harder, using the 80-20 rule. 20% of your efforts will yield 80% of your results. So have you found that to be the case? Have you found that businesses who are investing in TikTok are able to work this way and work smart, or is it still something that they're still learning how to do and still refining that process so that they eventually can work smarter?
Yeah, so the brands that we've seen working smarter with TikTok are the ones that are finding a successful TikTok partner. I would say like us, but it would sound arrogant. But no, but a good partner that has experience and expertise in the platform. That's the best way to work smart jumping into TikTok, because it's a done-for-you service. You don't have to be worrying about creating all the content and dealing with the actors and the media buyers and all the hassle that goes behind creating all that campaigns and content. So that's a smart way to get started with TikTok. Later on, if you're profitable enough and big enough, you can get your in-house team and just delegate all that into your in-house team, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that also it helps based on what you're saying, a $2 cost per acquisition, if I heard that correctly, that just shows your dollars are working smarter, not harder, right? That you're getting a better return, overall.
Yeah, and the thing is with TikTok as well, like, I mean, I mentioned like cold traffic is a lot cheaper than other platforms. And this is not only beneficial in the TikTok platform, it's beneficial for all of your campaigns, because later you can retarget through Facebook, for example, or through Google search, and your cost per acquisition there is going to be super low because they're already familiar with your brand. And that's what we've seen as well. Like, it's not only the low competition and the positive ROAS that we see through TikTok campaigns, it's also the increase of the return on ad spend on overall on the channels, on the campaigns in all platforms.
So we're coming up on time here, and before we wrap it up, I do want to just ask what specifically I would like to help you out here too. How does Outperform Studio help TikTok? Companies who are getting into TikTok. What's your, if you give us a 30-minute elevator pitch, what does that actually look like? Somebody getting involved and how they can start if they wanted to.
Yeah. So what we offer is high click-through rate content. So like I mentioned, the click-through rate is the most important factor in the content on the ads. So we offer the package of the videos all done for you. There is nothing for the client to do. The only thing that the client needs to worry about is to send us the product so the actors can shoot the video. And we create the whole strategy behind the content on TikTok, the scripts with the actors, we manage the actors, we have everything in place. The intellectual property will be for the brand, and the actors has nothing to do with that. We all have the agreements and everything is tied up legally. And we optimize all that content to go viral organically, and then to generate high ROAS on the paid side. And we do everything on performance as well on the paid side. And we've seen amazing results on our niche. Like, we work with wellness, health and wellness mainly. We specialize in skincare, and we've seen great returns on the content that we create.
And if a business or other partners want to get in touch with you, how can they find you? How can they find Outperform Studio? Tell us all your details.
Yeah, sure. So they can email me at Ruben at outperform/studio.com, or they can find us on outperform/studio.com on our website, and they can book a call with us. And we offer discovery call and strategy call all for free with our TikTok strategist. And anything that we give is for free. And if they don't want to move ahead with us, we just offer them some guidelines on how to create the content, and they can go ahead and implement it.
Awesome. There's so much here, and there's so much that we're already learning, and there's so much to unpack. And because TikTok is such a new platform, and when we say new, we're talking about maybe 2 years old, and really brands are really starting to get into it. I feel like this is something that we have to do this again. We're going to have this conversation again in 6 months or 8 months, and just see where we are, see where the business is, and see where, e-commerce has really taken advantage of the benefits of TikTok, because I think that there's so much that brands can do. They're just not ready to do it all that yet. And we feel like there's so much for brands to really do with this platform.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be happy to come back and give a heads up on changes on the platform. And if any brand out there that wants to jump into TikTok, they can feel free to book a call with us. We have an amazing strategist, and we offer all the guidelines and strategies to implement it themselves if they want to.
Yeah, and just as a final ad, it seems like, this is a great audience to tap into, the younger generation, the millennials, the Gen Z, the ones who are natively adopting all these new channels, these new platforms. We're in a more mature channel, one that's definitely built to convert really well, but having all these sources of new mediums out there is fantastic, and definitely a great channel for brands to, especially our listeners, to kind of start thinking about and investing in before it gets too late.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of slowly is incrementing as well. By the way, the age on TikTok, like a lot of people think like 16 to 30 and kind of like that. But lately, at least in 21, I don't know about this year, but 2021, the average age was between 18 to 55.
Wow.
So slowly, is a lot of more older generations are joining also TikTok, and I think it's here to stay, and it's gonna keep growing.
It's really just about the new kid on the block, and everybody wants a piece of that action. So,
Yeah.
so we had a great time, and thanks again for joining us. This has been another episode of the Ecom 80/20 podcast. I'm your host, Jakob Rosenberg, with my partner, Isaac Hyman. And we're here with a special guest today, Ruben Ramirez from Outperform Studio. Again, this is the Ecom 80/20 podcast, where we help businesses work smarter, not harder. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Ecom 80/20 podcast. If you enjoyed this show, please make sure to subscribe and follow us on social at HiFlyer Digital for daily tips, content, and videos. To put this week's strategy into action and move your brand forward, go to HiFlyerDigital.com/book and schedule a free 15-minute chat with Isaac and Jakob. Let's partner together to compete and win at e-commerce. Your brand is worth it. Until next week, this is Isaac and Jakob wishing you a successful and profitable week.